Obi-Wan steps onto Mustafar's black sand, expecting steel. Anakin waits on the landing platform, eyes red, saber unlit. Lava spits below them like distant artillery. Obi-Wan speaks first, not with blame, but with a warning. Padme is alive, and Anakin still has a choice. Anakin snarls that the Council betrayed him, that the Republic was dying, and that Palpatine offered power to stop death. Padme coughs near the ramp. Anakin rushes to her, panic slicing through rage. Obi-Wan kneels beside her with empty hands. For a heartbeat, Anakin expects a trick. Instead, he sees grief on Obi-Wan's face, the look of a brother who has already lost too much. In the Force, Palpatine senses their bond tightening again. He sends a cold order to the nearest clone detachment: cleanse Mustafar, kill Kenobi, and force Skywalker to choose. Gunships howl in. Blaster fire floods the platform. Obi-Wan ignites and deflects bolts away from Padme. Anakin freezes at the clone helmets, hearing old battle cheers twisted into execution. A bolt grazes Padme's shoulder. Fear spikes, then hardens into purpose. Anakin ignites his saber and steps beside Obi-Wan, not against him. They fight as one. Obi-Wan blocks. Anakin drives forward, carving a path to the ship. He refuses to look at the troopers' faces. He only hears Padme's uneven breathing and the scream of engines. They lift off on a damaged drive. As Mustafar shrinks beneath them, Anakin whispers, "I can't be Vader." Obi-Wan answers, "Then don't." A hollow message hijacks every channel. Palpatine declares Obi-Wan Kenobi a traitor, and Anakin Skywalker his fallen accomplice. Rewards are offered. Worlds are threatened. The galaxy is ordered to hate them. Alarms wail. The hyperdrive flickers. Anakin grips the controls, knuckles white. Where do we run? Obi-Wan stares into the star lines. Somewhere the Emperor can't silence the truth. Behind them, Coruscant's net tightens, and the hunt begins. Obi-Wan keys an old emergency code into the transmitter, a signal meant for friends who still live. He will not say the destination aloud. If Sidious is listening, even names can kill. Somewhere, Bail Organa's receiver will flicker. Hyperspace stretches into blue lines as the ship limps toward the outer rim. Padme lies strapped to a bunk, breathing shallow. Obi-Wan works the medkit with steady hands. Anakin paces, trapped inside his thoughts, counting each shudder of the failing drive. Padme wakes and meets his eyes. She does not shout. She asks, quietly, if he killed children at the temple. Anakin tries to speak, but the words die in his throat. The silence is an answer. Padme turns away, tears sliding into the pillow. Obi-Wan says Palpatine fed Anakin's fear like poison. The Sith promised control, then demanded obedience. Anakin whispers, "Is there a way back?" Obi-Wan starts to answer, but the ship jerks. Stars snap back to normal space. An interdictor cruiser looms ahead, gravity wells locking them in place. A voice floods the comm, smooth as oil. Darth Sidious congratulates Anakin for surviving Mustafar. He offers mercy with a blade hidden inside it. Return alone, kneel in public, and Padme will receive the finest care. Refuse, and the Empire will brand her a terrorist and execute her on a live holofeed. Padme forces herself upright and grips Anakin's wrist. "Don't trade your soul for my life," she says. Anakin stares at the open hangar, then at Obi-Wan's guarded face. Trust feels fragile, like glass under heat. He chooses a lie that sounds like ambition. He opens the channel and promises to return, but only after proving loyalty by hunting the remaining Jedi. He claims he has a lead on survivors and needs one jump of freedom. Sidious agrees, amused, and releases the gravity well for a single window. The moment the ship is free, Anakin slams the controls and dives into hyperspace. Obi-Wan exhales, half relief, half dread. He will expect blood, he warns. Anakin nods. Then we show him something else. Padme winces as another wave of pain hits, but she still whispers, "Live." In the dark, the interdictor turns to follow, and the countdown to Sidious's judgment begins. Obi-Wan plots a rendezvous with Senator Organa, while Anakin watches the navicomputer, knowing his lie will demand a price soon again. They hide at Polis Massa, an abandoned medical outpost carved into gray rock. Obi-Wan sends a coded pulse only a Jedi would answer. Hours later, a battered freighter docks. Bail Organa steps out with guards and worry in his eyes. Bail's gaze locks on Anakin's dark robes. His hand hovers near his blaster. Obi-Wan steps between them and speaks fast. Mustafar ended without a duel. Anakin turned away from Sidious. Bail does not believe in miracles. He believes in proof. Padme is placed under care. Droids hum. Lights flicker. Yoda appears on a secure hollow, small and exhausted. The temple is ashes. Survivors are scattered. The Emperor's lies are spreading faster than hope. Anakin offers what he has left: access codes, patrol routes, and the names of senators being watched. He admits there is a program to seize Force-sensitive children and shape them into tools. Saying it aloud makes him flinch. Bail demands one thing in return: results. If Anakin lies again, Bail will space him himself. Anakin accepts the threat without protest. Then Quinlan Vos limps into the bay, scarred and furious. He sees Anakin and ignites his saber. Bail's guards raise rifles. Padme cries out from the clinic. Obi-Wan orders calm, but Vos attacks. Anakin blocks, refusing to strike back at first. Vos spits the word that cuts deepest: younglings. The memory hits Anakin like a blast door. Anakin disarms Vos with a sharp twist of the Force, then deactivates his own blade and drops it. "I did it," he says. "I was wrong. I was weak." He does not beg. He waits to be judged. Silence hangs. Yoda's ears droop. Bail studies Anakin's face, searching for the hero he once trusted. The compromise is brutal. Anakin will help, but he will not lead. Obi-Wan will watch him. Vos will watch Obi-Wan. Trust will be built like a bridge over an abyss. They need him, even while hating. Before they can plan, alarms scream. Imperial probes have found the outpost. Through the viewport, TIE fighters spill into space like knives. Bail whispers, "They're here," as the first shots slam into the hull. Explosions rattle Polis Massa, turning dust into drifting clouds. TIEs strafe the outer ring, while boarding shuttles clamp onto airlocks. Bail shouts orders. Vos runs toward the breach, with anger in every step. Clone troopers pour into the corridor, rifles set to kill. Obi-Wan deflects bolts away from fleeing med droids. Vos cuts through the front line, reckless. Anakin ignites last and steps into the center, forcing himself to be a shield instead of a storm. He does not massacre. He disables. He slices blasters, crushes armor joints, and uses force pushes to slam troopers into walls without finishing them. Each mercy costs time, and time is the enemy. Bail reaches the hangar, but his freighter is pinned by crossfire. The outpost has old evacuation tunnels leading to emergency pods, yet only one pod can carry Padme safely. In the clinic, Padme grips Anakin's sleeve. Her voice is weak but clear. If you run forever, he wins forever. She makes him look at her, not at his fear. Anakin chooses a target. The Imperial commander directs the assault from a shuttle docked on the ring. Anakin reaches through the station with the Force, senses the shuttle's fuel cells, and decides. He and Obi-Wan advance together, backs aligned. Anakin hurls his saber, slicing the shuttle's control fins. Obi-Wan follows with a Force shove that rips the craft from its clamps. The shuttle spins into open space and detonates. The shockwave tears debris away, opening escape window. Bail launches the freighter. Vos escorts refugees into tunnels. Obi-Wan carries Padme toward the last pod. Anakin stays behind to seal blast doors and cover the retreat. Obi-Wan returns for him, but Anakin stands at the viewport, watching troopers regroup. He feels their pursuit forming. He knows Sidious will follow his presence like a beacon. "I'll lead them away," Anakin says. Obi-Wan steps closer. "You don't get to abandon us again." Anakin slams a bulkhead shut with the Force, locking Obi-Wan on the pod side. Over the intercom, he pleads, "Save her. Save the babies." The pod launches, and Anakin runs into smoke toward the enemy alone. Anakin steals a boarding shuttle and blasts away from Polis Massa with every Imperial sensor locked onto him. He flies like he did in the Clone Wars, sharp and fearless, but now every turn is payment for his sins. Sidious appears on the cracked hollow, cloaked in shadow. His voice is gentle, almost proud. He calls Anakin by his old name, then says Vader, like it is already carved into stone. He demands proof of loyalty. Anakin answers with cold focus. He claims he is tracking Jedi survivors. He feeds Sidious false coordinates, pulling the hunt toward empty space. The Emperor listens, and Anakin feels Sith attention squeeze his throat. On Alderaan, Bail receives Anakin's transmission. Order 66 authorizations, Senate manipulation plans, and lists of seized children. The evidence hits like a punch. It is enough to start a rebellion, if anyone dares to believe it. Voss argues Anakin is bait and will get them all killed. Padme, still weak, steps between them. "If he becomes Vader, we lose." She says, "If we save him, we might save worlds." Obi-Wan feels the truth and prepares a rescue ship. In the debris field of a dead moon, Anakin scrapes metal and sheds panels. He could jump away, but he stays, drawing hunters farther out. Then a new vessel arrives, silent and predatory, a prototype cruiser for the Emperor's secret enforcers. Its hangar opens. Dark figures step out with unstable red blades and blank masks. They swarm. Anakin rolls and fires, but the shuttle is outmatched. A tractor beam catches him and drags him into the hangar. Shock cuffs slam onto his wrists. He is forced to his knees. A holo of Sidious appears above him, smiling. "You tried to run from destiny," the Emperor says, "so I will bring destiny to you." Behind Sidious, a row of cameras powers up. The execution will be broadcast. In cuffs, Anakin senses Padme's fading strength and vows the Emperor will never touch her. Across the stars, Obi-Wan feels a tremor through the Force, like a scream behind a wall. He jumps to hyperspace, racing the signal before Anakin's trial becomes a show. Obi-Wan drops out of hyperspace above the dead moon and finds wreckage drifting like bones. Anakin's stolen shuttle is torn open and empty. Only a sharp echo of struggle lingers in the Force. A dagger-shaped cruiser slides from the shadows. A tractor beam snags Obi-Wan's starfighter and drags him into a hangar lit by harsh white strips. 3 dark warriors wait with unstable red blades. They circle like wolves. Obi-Wan ignites and moves first, refusing to be surrounded. He cuts a cable, drops a crate, and uses smoke to break their formation. One attacker falls, stunned. The second presses in, savage. Obi-Wan parries, spins, and kicks off the wall to strike from above. The third faints, trying to draw blood for sport. Then Obi-Wan senses him. Anakin kneels near the hangar edge, bound in shock cuffs, face bruised, but eyes clear. Sidious's voice booms from speakers, amused. "You brought yourself to the altar, Kenobi. Watch your failure repeat." The warriors attack again. Obi-Wan cannot reach Anakin without exposing his back. Anakin strains against the cuffs and shouts that they are keyed to the ship's main power node. Obi-Wan dives under a red blade and drives his saber into a floor conduit. Sparks explode. Lights flicker. The shock cuffs fail. Anakin rises, breathing hard. He ignites his saber with steady calm. He fights beside Obi-Wan, striking to disarm, not to execute. Together, they carve a path into a maintenance shaft as gas vents into the hangar. They crawl through narrow ducts while alarms scream. In the command spine, Obi-Wan copies prisoner lists and fleet routes. Anakin hijacks a transmitter and blasts one message across every channel. The Emperor is a Sith. A giant holo of Sidious appears, furious. "Kneel." Anakin meets Obi-Wan's eyes. "If we run, he will chase forever." Obi-Wan answers, "Then we make him bleed." They set the cruiser on a collision course, steal an escape pod, and jump away with coordinates for Bail. The pod's coordinates lead to Bail's safe house, but Sidious marks their trail. Obi-Wan feels the trap closing. He dispatches a Star Destroyer squadron. The escape pod jumps to hyperspace moments before the cruiser slams into the dead moon. The explosion blooms like a second sun. Obi-Wan hopes they bought silence, but Sidious's presence returns colder, sharper. On Coruscant, the Emperor turns their broadcast into a trap. He convenes the Senate and plays edited footage of Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting clones, calling them terrorists who murdered loyal soldiers. Crowds cheer for justice. Bail counters with stolen files, Order 66 authorizations, child seizure plans, and hidden budgets. He leaks them through trusted channels. Some worlds riot, others double down. The galaxy splits along fear lines. The fugitives reach a hidden rebel cache on a canyon world. Voss is there with survivors and supplies. Ahsoka Tano arrives, masked and wary. She sees Anakin and stops breathing for a moment. Anakin bows his head. "I'm sorry." Ahsoka's voice is hard. "Will you kill again when you're afraid?" Obi-Wan answers, "He will be watched. He will be used against Sidious. The alternative is another Vader." Ahsoka studies Anakin's posture, not his words. At last, she says she will judge him by the next choice he makes. That choice arrives instantly. A probe droid finds the cache. Star Destroyers drop from hyperspace, blotting the stars. Troopers pour into the canyons. Bail orders evacuation shuttles. Padme, stronger now, refuses to flee first. She stands in the open, rallying mechanics and farmers who have never held a blaster. Anakin takes command with grim clarity. He funnels troopers into choke points, collapses rock walls to seal passages, and keeps civilians moving. Ahsoka fights beside him, their sabers moving in a harmony that feels like a lost home. Then the sky darkens again. A new fleet arrives, carrying an unfinished superweapon test platform built from stolen separatist tech. Sidious opens a galaxy-wide frequency. "Surrender, Anakin Skywalker." And this base survives. Refuse, and the first test fires on the nearest inhabited moon. The weapon begins to charge. The targeted moon is full of families, and all eyes turn to Anakin. Above them, the superweapon hums like judgment. Padme's hand finds Anakin's, and the base holds its breath for his answer. The superweapon's core glows brighter, a rising scream in the Force. The targeted moon hangs on every screen, calm and unaware. Bail's officers argue. Voss demands they run. Ahsoka insists they fight. Padme stands in the center and refuses to let fear decide. Anakin says the Emperor built this moment to force sacrifice. If they hand him over, Sidious wins twice. The rebels lose hope, and Anakin becomes the symbol of surrender. Obi-Wan proposes a strike, not against the fleet, but against the mind guiding it. End Sidious, and the weapon dies with him. They split their last resources. Bail leads evacuation shuttles. Voss and Ahsoka draw troopers away with a hit-and-run assault. Obi-Wan and Anakin steal a bomber and dive toward the test platform. Flak blossoms around them. Anakin flies, Obi-Wan fires, and the Force threads them through gaps too small for metal. They breach the hangar and sprint into corridors lined with clones. Sidious waits in the central chamber, alone. Lightning cracks from his fingertips, slamming Obi-Wan into a pillar. Anakin blocks with his saber, but the power drives him to his knees. The Emperor taunts him with Padme's name and the children he has not met. He offers one final deal: kneel, and he will spare the moon. Anakin looks at Obi-Wan struggling to rise. He looks at the charging core. He makes the choice he failed to make on Mustafar. He shuts off his saber and opens his hands. "I won't be ruled by fear." Sidious strikes. Eager. Anakin takes the lightning as a shield and uses the Force to rip the chamber's energy conduits free, redirecting Sidious's power into the superweapon's core. The platform shakes, sirens howl. Obi-Wan crawls to the controls and triggers a meltdown purge. Sidious lunges, but Anakin grabs him, holding tight as the core erupts behind them. Obi-Wan's eyes fill with tears. Anakin's last words are calm. "Tell Padme I chose." Obi-Wan escapes as the chamber collapses. The platform detonates in a white bloom, consuming itself and the Emperor's flagship. Across the galaxy, the fleet falters, and Vader is never born.